You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Tap dancing on it. Pritchard got a hand on it, saved it to Holiday. Drew hits it ahead to Tatum. Bouncer right back to Holiday. Upstairs, Porzingis. Celtics basketball.
We got a little flare. There's the bounce pass. Here's the flare. There's the jam. Tatum gets it. There's the chest. And look at that. Porzingis up high.
Historic night in the NBA last night. The Boston Celtics, first time in franchise history, they complete a 6-0 road trip. That, at times last night, that game, they looked like the Globetrotters. Down by 11 early, who cares? Came back, steamrolled Memphis. Let's get it going. Lots to talk about today. NFL, torpedo bets, and you. We got guys hitting for the cycle already. Guy for the Reds, 7 RBIs, torpedo bats. Actually got a clip today of the maker, the founder of the torpedo bat. People think like this was just like made yesterday. You know, it's like when they put the sword back together in Lord of the Rings, you know? Or something in Game of Thrones making a weapon. This isn't new. It's just like it didn't just happen. You know, yesterday, these things, I believe, have been around for a while. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks for checking us out across the awesome video platform. Following me at X or Twitter, at Pete Sheppard 326. On YouTube, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn, our Facebook pages, CSN Florida, of course, the great sports radio app, SR 1029 The Game, at SR1029thegame.com. And call or text the show, 727-858-6650. Lots going on today. Hey, it's good this morning on ESPN. They didn't lead with a Lakers 6-point win over the Houston Rockets last night. They led with the women's Final Four. Congratulations go out to UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, and Texas. They will all be playing on Friday in Tampa at Emily, which Angel is going to be at. And that concludes our coverage of women's college basketball for today. There you go. Congratulations. We'll talk more about it on Friday, but that's it for today. 4 deserving Final Four. It looks like it's going to be South Carolina, I think, and UConn. That should be pretty entertaining. Anyway, moving on to the Celtics last night, and should have been the lead story. It's something that's historic in the NBA. Trust me, if the stupid Lakers had done it, it would be all over the place. But because it's the Celtics and they don't have people that mouth off, and you know they just go about their business. And what a genuine pleasure to watch last night. The bounce passing, the self. Sometimes I want them to be more selfish, but they're so they had tons of assists last night on most of their baskets. Unbelievable. Vince Carter at halftime or before the game on the pregame show on TNT, he actually said this, and it's so true. First of all, they talked about Memphis for 15 minutes and the firing with the coach. And what it means to them as they're continuing to battling the Lakers for the 4-5 spot. The Lakers didn't win last night, but they'll still fade. And then finally, Vince Carter says, perhaps we should talk about the Celtics a little bit more because they, for the defending world champions and what they're doing, they've really gone under the radar. No shit, Sherlock. Really? Yet you spent 15 minutes of your freaking horrible pregame show, and that show is terrible when the main crew is not there. It's such a difference. Vince Carter is Candace Parker is and I even forget the host name, but they weren't there. Ernie wasn't there. Shaq's flight got delayed or something like that. He couldn't make it. No Kenny the Jet Smith. No Chuck. He's worn out from doing college basketball last week. But it's a totally different vibe when that regular crew's in there. When the regular crew is there, it's the best pre-halftime and post-game show there is in all of sports. But I mean, Vince Carter, the Celtics flying under the radar because you people in the media make it that way. You people, not me people, you people. I mean, stuff I've been talking about for months. I don't think you appreciate the greatness and the freaking awesomeness that is this team. It's unbelievable how they play, how unselfish they are, how well coached they are. No one's ever done, in the history of the Celtics, they've never gone on a 6-0 road trip. You know how hard that is to do? Especially when they are not, I don't think they were at full strength for any one of those games. 2 starters resting here, 3 starters resting there, a starter resting there. Jaylen Brown didn't play last night. I mean, do people realize that? How difficult it is, not just to win out. They're 32-7 on the road. 32-7. If they win, I think they have 9. They got a couple games left on the road. They can tie. Right now, they're like first or second percentage-wise. But they're going for a record. Not that it really matters. It's just impressive to be able to play like that. And they are playing like they're fighting for playing the playing game 7-10. I'm telling you, there is nobody going to beat this team. Nobody. It's physically and technologically impossible. It cannot happen. It will not happen. They are just too good. They are too deep. They are too unselfish, and they are very well coached. Anyway, with all of that, 117-103 win last night, 25-14-2 for Jason Tatum. Porzingis was awesome, 19-5-5. Holiday, 18-7-7. White, 14-8. And cannot say enough, Al Horford, the man, coming off the bench, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Absolutely unbelievable. Celtics win it. Utah, Portland, Sacramento, Phoenix, San Antonio, and Memphis. They average winning by, again, it's and eclipsed the previous road win streak of 5 back in February of 1973. And the run also helped the Celtics, a franchise record, as I just said, 32 road wins, accomplished in 72-73 and 74-75, and trailing Chicago that had 33 in 1995-96, and Golden State had 34 in 2015-2016. Jay Moran had 26 for them. Aldama had 21. Jaren Jackson had 20 and 15 boards. No Jaylen Brown last night. A little knee tweaking. And Luke Cornett didn't play. He wasn't feeling that well. But the Celtics have been just an absolute wrecking machine. And they come home to take on the Miami Heat on Wednesday. First game back from a long road trip is always tough. So I'm not going to be surprised if Miami comes out and plays good basketball and tough basketball against them in the first half, but then we'll see. Then we will see. But anyway, very, very excited. Not very excited. As we say good morning to Angel Martinez. Good morning, Angel. How are things in Tampa? So you got your Phillies gear on today. I would have Red Sox gear on today. I'm waiting. I'm going to wear a Red Sox hat again as soon as Rafael Devers gets a hit, which won't be again today because they have the day off. But maybe I should. He's only 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts so far. 3 more yesterday. He did draw 2 walks. This team still leads the league in men left on base. Bregman has not been good with runners on base so far. Red Sox lose 8-5. They gave up 4 runs in the first inning. Otherwise, they would have had a shot to win this one. But nope, they lose. They fall to 1-4. They have the day off, and man, do they need it. Because they need to go out and find themselves here. It's still very early in the season. Rafael Devers sucks. You know what? I mean, just absolutely atrocious. Jim Rice has a great breakdown during Nesson's postgame show that we'll play the clip in a little bit. How you doing, Angel? Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. And there's an official 24-hour ban of any Patriots talk here on the network since Mike Vrabel is leading the charge on a tush push.
I don't think he's leading the charge. Green Bay's leading the charge.
Yeah, he's not. But it was funny to hear him and obviously Mike Tomlin talk about it because they're saying the committee is strongly pushing behind it. I'm like, really, you guys? The Bills and Eagles somehow or another have perfected this. Everybody else needs to play catch up. But once they do,
the Bills don't want to do it. The Bills are against it. They don't want the tush push. They've come out against it.
Right, but it's partially worked for them last year. So I thought it was kind of funny. They just that they don't want to do it. But hey, listen, whatever. They want to ban it, they can ban it. They'll just find more creative ways to do so. to be
I
able to
don't.
give it.
I hope it doesn't get banned. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
Absolutely
because
ridiculous.
again,
Look,
somehow the Eagles have been able to perfect it. But yes, well in the Phillies gear. Phillies are doing well so far early on the season. We know, as many Philly fans do, either the Phillies start out on a hot take and then they slow down a bit, then they go back to being hot. And right around the All-Star break, it can either be hot or not. And then after the All-Star break is a whole different thing. But they're doing well so far earlier on in the season. So I'm as always, a proud.
Here's Kepler. That ball is crushed deep to right field. Forget about it. Just inside the pole. First home run in a Phil's uniform. Max Kepler's 3-hit day. 5-1 Phillies.
There's no doubt about the power of Max Kepler. It's just, can he stay healthy? And if he's healthy, Tom, playing in this ballpark with significant number of at-bats, he's going to get you 30 or 35.
Now Nick Castellanos.
Out to center field. Pretty well hit, too. Doyle's going back toward the wall. Gone! Back to back. Kepler and Castellanos. Keep them coming. 6-1 Phils. I don't know how close Doyle got to it, but it was carrying.
This one here had some hang time.
Hit 5 in a row like the University of Kansas did against the Gophers a couple of weeks ago. Hit 5 in a row, then I'll be impressed. I'm just back-to-back nonsense. Anyway, good job by the Phillies. They pull away. They win 6-1. So nice, huh?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's nice. Good feels for the Phils. They still need a little bit of pitching help. They know it, but they're gradually getting there.
Well, Red Sox lost again yesterday by a score of 8-5. The Celtics win, continue historic night last night. We got torpedo bat gate going on out there. We got the founder of the torpedo bat, by the way, is Aaron Learnhardt. He is the field coordinator for the Miami Marlins. Well, he was interviewed by the media yesterday before the Marlins got killed by the Mets 10-4. Speaking of Mets, we'll have Jay Flannelly on at 8:30 this morning here on the Coastal Sports Network. Talk a lot of NFL. Still a lot going on. Aaron Rodgers still unemployed, and there's a lot more. But Rafael Devers continues 0 for 19, 15 Ks. 0 for 19, 15 Ks.
I think the funny part was that you saw where Mike Tomlin said, "Oh, we had serious conversation with Aaron Rodgers." Like, did you really? And then, of course, now Cleveland too, the same way. We failed with Deshaun.
We swung and missed, as the quote. Yeah, we'll get to them in a second. Mike Tomlin. Actually, it's interesting that you bring that up. I want to play. If we could scroll down, and Angel, it's down a little bit. It's under Al Horford, and Mike Tomlin has gone viral with this press conference right here. Dov Kleiman has it, and I'm going to let you watch it. Then I'll tell you why it's gone viral.
He's a free agent. As you guys know, he came to visit last Friday. We had a really productive day. He's been in this thing a long time. I've been in this thing a long time. But it's no substitute for, intimacy and spending time together and getting to know one another in a non-competitive environment. And so that was really good. But I don't have any new updates in terms of where the process is. We'll see where it leads us.
How unsettling is it, or is it, to not have this situation?
I'm really comfortable with being unsettled this time of year, to be quite honest with you. It's about talent acquisition. We got two main means of acquiring talent: free agency and the draft. We multitask. We do both. Those needs that we fulfill in free agency, we do so there, and when we don't, we fulfill it in the draft. And so I just learned over the years that this time of year, although day to day it can be somewhat uncomfortable, it is a process.
Speaking of uncomfortable, somebody get the man a towel. Now, the reason why it's viral, fans are concerned about his health. He was sweating excessively, as you just saw right there at his press conference yesterday. I mean, far be it from me. I mean, I typically, I sweat at the drop of a hat. So it's like, but for him, I don't know. Maybe I don't know how hot it was in there, if the AC wasn't working or whatever. But people were generally concerned about his health because they don't see him usually sweat like that in a sit down. But look, it could be a lot of things. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but a lot of Steeler fans, I guess, were concerned that something was going on.
I think they have, I'm not too sure exactly the way I have the setup, but I think one of those buildings are, you know, how they make those makeshift tents. You know, it still has kind of like that plasticky-ish kind of. So that might have been the one of the reasons. But yeah, I've never seen Mike Tomlin sweat that much. But then again, he was talking to Aaron Rodgers, so now the pressure's on.
All right, Andrew, if we could scroll down, let's do a football segment here. Let's scroll down a little bit to Mike Vrabel yesterday. It's under Carlos A. Lopez. Vrabel on the Patriots' plan at running back this year. It's under Pat McAfee thing, which I'm going to play next. Yeah, right there.
I didn't do a whole lot of investigating about what went wrong. I'm trying to focus on what's going to go right. And so I know that Jalen's working hard. He's excited about being a new dad. He's working hard to rehab that shoulder, focusing on, and again, he said this, not me, but this is something I'll always say, is he's focused on what he can do as opposed to what he can't do. So he's lifting hard. He's lifting his lower body hard. He wants to get stronger. And where he can make gains right now about strength is in his lower body because he's rehabbing his shoulder. So that's exciting to me. You know, Javon have been communicating with, and again, I'm excited to get these guys back whenever they come back and get going. Like, we're going to evaluate them going forward, not anything that happened. And if there's things that we can try to, you know, eliminate from last year, we've had those conversations, and whatever their frustrations were or whatever things that did or didn't happen, you know, we're moving forward with what we see in them and the excitement that they have. And so the more excited they are about learning, we'll be just as excited about teaching them.
Yeah, I love that. And also the other news that came out of the Patriots camp yesterday, Christian Barmore looks like he's going to be ready to go for OTAs. He's been battling blood clots, which is very serious, dangerous, and he's an awesome player when he is in there. You add on Harold Landry III, Christian Barmore, Robert Spillane, obviously, Carlton Davis III, who they picked up as well at corner. And man, this defense is looking pretty good. It's absolutely looking pretty good. So hopefully things will work out for Christian Barmore, because that's absolutely huge. That's absolutely huge. So good news. And Robert Kraft is showing up today down there. Karen Guregian, I reached out. She was going to join me, but she was going to join me at 8:30. But Robert Kraft is coming and speaking to the media around that time, so she has to cover that. We'll talk to her later on in the week when she gets back to New England. Great reporter for Mass Live as well. You got a second? I'm just trying to.
If you kind of noticed too, when Mike Vrabel was talking, that window pane behind him, when he first walked in, it was clear. I just think there were so many people in there, and it made it hot, because even Vrabel looks not as sweaty as obviously Coach Tomlin, but you can tell that he's also hot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you brought up a good point. I forgot to mention Mitt Williams, obviously one of the best free agent signings yet in all of football. All right, right above that, speaking of the tush push, on Pat McAfee show yesterday, was NFL Network senior insider Ian Rappaport joined. You notice how, by the way, Pete Schrager left NFL Network yesterday to join ESPN. There's also rumors out there that ESPN and NFL Network are going to merge, which wouldn't shock me at all. Seeing a lot of crossover lately on the McAfee show with people in the NFL Network, especially Ian Rappaport, which they typically don't like to do, because they were supposed to be competitive entities, so to speak. But because everybody's losing a shitload of money because they don't know how to program this stuff, and McAfee's one of the best shows, and ESPN doesn't know their ass from their elbow when it comes to a lot of things, they have to. It's going to come down to that they probably are going to have to merge or do something serious with the NFL Network. So here's them talking about the tush push yesterday with Ian Rappaport.
Wait a minute.
It's right above what you just played.
Yep. Here we go.
So my Hembo stats say that the Eagles, since 2022, are 108 of 124. whenever it comes to tush pushes, which is 87% of the time. Now, it used to be above 90. I think it was 92%. That's why the New Height podcast is 92%ers, because that was when Jason Kelsey was in there. Obviously, he's a masterpiece of it all. I am reading the tea and crumpet leaves from afar here in London. It feels as if there is a little bit of a groundswell from NFL people to ban this play. Is that accurate? But nobody wants to come out publicly and say it because they all want to be known as football guys.
Well, some of the Packers people have come out publicly. Brian Gutekunst just did media. I talked to him afterward. He has come out publicly and said, essentially, this is, first of all, let me say this. I don't know that it's getting banned, but I do feel kind of like you're saying, the groundswell of maybe rewriting it. So, like, is it going to go away? I don't know, but rewriting it would make some sense. And I think what they're nervous about is, like, the NFL officials have said very publicly, there's not enough injury data to see if it's something that, like, long-term could be a play that's sort of like an injury-filled play. But what they're nervous about is some catastrophic injury to, like, an offensive lineman. I think the center is probably most at risk. And then you react and say, then ban it. So I think they're trying to get ahead of it and say, how can we make it just a little bit safer? Eliminate it, I don't know. But I do feel the groundswell of, like, let's try to make this a little bit safer before anything really
What's that
bad.
mean, like one pusher? Like, what does that mean?
Maybe, or I'm not 100% sure. I mean, one pusher might make sense, or maybe one push. Like, maybe that would be a way to do it. Like,
wait, I just stop halfway through.
That'll be easy.
Just one
thrust.
Just one push. One thrust. Sometimes one thrust is all you need.
That's all
guys.
they need. True.
In football,
well, rap, we know that is all you got too. But like
in
think about
football,
oh yeah. But when you're talking about officiating this, we're putting more judgment calls now into the refs' hands. I don't know if that's good play. I know. This is the challenge. Them starting to mention the precedent of the field goal block team not being able to push years ago, and then now it feels like there's a chance this thing gets banned. Who knows?
Banned from the store. They have it. So I still think it's, the Bills are, what the stat that Pat didn't say that I've said before, the Eagles are the best at it in the high 80s, but the whole league in general is at 71%. It's not like there's this gigantic discrepancy, or 78%, I think it is. It's either 71 or 70. Regardless, it's way up there. If it was different and the league was down to like 20%, the rest of the league, I'd say, okay, maybe you got something. But it's not that way. You're talking like another 16, 17%. It's so stupid. They keep leaving that stat out, and I don't understand it. The rest of the league is doing it too, just not at an 87% clip. They do it at a 71% clip. Big deal.
Yep.
Big deal. So, anyway, today is April Fool's, Angel. And I remember back on this day in 1985, and when we have Jay Flannelly on, I'm going to see lifelong Mets fan. The greatest prank in April Fool's history happened on this day in 1985 through Sports Illustrated. Do you remember this issue, Angel, by chance? I'm older than you, but so on this day, front thing, the article, Sid Finch and the Curious Case of Sid Finch, written by journalist George Plimpton, who did a lot of kooky things and quirky things in his career, besides being a great journalist. He also, played for the Detroit Lions and, took a couple snaps, played goalie as well in the NHL. He did a lot of crazy things. But George Plimpton, The Curious Case of Sid Finch, everybody on the planet, by the way, fell for this, detailed the mysterious lifestyle of the part pitcher, part yogi, who played the French horn beautifully and looked like Goofy in one of the Walt Disney's cartoon classics when he threw the ball. It was said that the unknown New York Mets prospect could throw a baseball 168 miles an hour. I still remember the picture they showed him of this person. The total thing was a hoax, an original idea drummed up by Sports Illustrated's managing editor at the time, Mark Mavoy, perfectly executed by Plimpton. And part of what made the story unbelievable was the photographs of Sid Finch, this is what I was talking about, taken by SI photographer Lane Stewart, who recruited his friend, who was an art teacher and occasional assistant, Joe Burton, to portray the fictional Finch character. So in honor of April Fool's Day, SI caught up with Stewart and Burton, who are still good friends, forever bonded by the saga of Sid Finch. It really is. Unbelievable. And the thing is, when you saw the article, let me see if I can. When you saw the curious case of Sid Finch, and there was a part of it underneath the letter of every word in the paragraph. If you took the first letter of every word in the paragraph, said "Happy April Fool's Day." It was really, really brilliant. But I mean, everybody, I got home like, holy shit! I'm calling my friend. This guy throws 168 miles. Look at him, Because even back then, I mean, Nolan Ryan had the record back then at like 102.5 miles an hour. I think it has since been broken. But when we saw this and the way it was laid out, the way it was written, the way it was photographed was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Can't tell you. The only time I've ever seen people want to cancel more subscriptions, because you always had the politically correct people come out after the swimsuit edition would come out. Oh, I'm going to cancel my subscription. This is a Christian. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up. And then this one too. Oh, I can't believe you guys did this. Cancel my subscription. Oh, come on. Some people couldn't even take a joke back then, but it was absolutely brilliant how it was done.
I had a friend of mine, and they're still good friends of mine, lived back home in Pennsylvania. Well, my daughter used to go to the same daycare as her son. Of course, now both of them are much older. Both are about to turn 18 here. And the funny part was I said to her, listen, I know we've known each other for a year. I just want to let you know about your husband, Rob. I don't know if I should tell you this or not, but anyways, he's seeing this girl, but he only sees her once a year. And I don't know why it's this particular day he wants to see her, but for some reason it gets him excited, and they kind of, I guess they were friends from years ago. And I don't know. I guess I'm a little uncomfortable telling you this. She's like, who is it? So I give her this long song and dance. I said, she was like, so what's her name? I'm like, I only know her by her first name. It's April, but he only sees her once a year. And this is the date that he sees her. She is losing her mind. Like, are you kidding me? April? Like, he doesn't like any girls named Aprils. Yeah, it's weird though. He only sees her on the first every year, just on this particular day. She wouldn't get until finally this other lady kind of ear hustles and hear what's going on. She's like, did you say the girl's name was April? I said, yes. She goes, and he only sees her on the first? I said, yes. So she looks like at my friend Kat, dead in her eyes. She goes, April, he only sees her on the first. She's like, yeah, I know. And it took her finally like a few minutes. She's like, really? I'm like, hey, you fell for it. I gave a song win. But yeah, it was my only good April Fool's joke ever that I've ever gotten to play off.
That's great. You got to sell it. Way to sell it. Yeah, actually, my first date I ever won in my life, just a date, was a roller skating date. Hold hands during couples. Was with a girl named April back in the day. Yep, that lasted about a month. No kissing, no hugging, no nothing. Just roller skating date. 7th grade. But yeah, that's a great story, Angel. That's awesome. Some other NFL news where I think is interesting. We'll get into it more after we take a break. NFL owners have approved a tweak to league rules for flexing Thursday night games on Amazon Prime, reducing the window for notifying teams of a change to 21 days. Not sure how I feel about that just yet. And as we brought up earlier, Cleveland Browns co-owner Jimmy Haslam yesterday called the team's trade for quarterback Deshaun Watson, quote, a big swing and a miss. I would call it the Rafael Devers. Just rename it the Rafael Devers. Same thing, except you have to do it 19 times. That's how many times, 15 times, pardon me. He's 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. Bad. Stupid. Don't want to over-exaggerate how pathetic this guy is so far. But anyway, I would call it Cleveland Browns co-owner Jimmy Haslam called the team's trade for quarterback Deshaun Watson a Rafael Devers, a.k.a. a big swing and a miss. We'll get into all that. Baseball rundown, some really, really interesting games yesterday. Guys hitting for the cycle, guys getting a ton of hits. We're going to hear from the creator of the torpedo bat, which really looks like a bowling pin more than a torpedo.
It does.
But we'll get to that and a whole lot more NBA, NHL stuff as well. Women's Final Four, as I said, is set for Tampa with UCLA and UConn, Texas, and South Carolina. And we'll talk to that. And more stuff, more NFL news from the meetings in West Palm that will continue today. Robert Kraft and the Patriots expected to speak as well. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Tuesday. April Fools! I'm the biggest fool on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey. Why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home. Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill? Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
As Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Tap dancing on. Pritchard got a hand on it, saved it to Holiday. Drew hits it ahead to Tatum. Bouncer right back to Holiday. Upstairs, Porzingis. Celtics basketball.
We got a little flare. There's the bounce pass. Here's the flare. There's the jam. Tatum gets it. There's the chest. And look at that. Porzingis up high.
Wait till you see the video. Going to play that in a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks, everyone, for checking us out here on this Tuesday. Jay Finley coming up in an hour here on the Coastal Sports Network. Meanwhile, Angel, some baseball news to tell you about. We'll get back into the NFL as well. I want to do a little baseball rundown here. Starting with the torpedo bat thingy, it has been a big story for the last 48 hours. All I know is that this has been around. This is not that something that happened in the Yankee game the other day with Volpe. It's been around. Now, I know Dela Cruz yesterday had 7 RBIs while using the torpedo / bowling pin bat. But this has been going on for a while. So if we could scroll down, the founder of the founder of this thing is from Florida, the Miami Marlins, and it is the where is it? It should not be that far down. Let me see. It's right under the show, Angel. The first one right under the show. Miami Marlins field coordinator Aaron Leonhardt took time and spoke with the media yesterday before the Marlins lost to the Mets about the torpedo bat.
Okay. Ironic, before I play the video here, how is it possible this guy's with the Marlins and doesn't make the bats for the Marlins?
Well, he does.
Just
not everybody uses it.
This has been in the works for a little while. How long do you think it takes guys to buy into new things in baseball?
Well, this has definitely been a project that's taken over 2 years to get to this point. So whether it's one off season, a full season, 2 off seasons, that tends to be just the time scale for guys to maybe not just buy in, but also for us to help make the adjustments to make it playable, actionable on the field for them. So a lot of guys will test stuff behind the scenes, but they won't take it to the field necessarily until it's really dialed in for them. So.
For you personally, what kind of moment is this for you in baseball history? You know how baseball has been in the past. So.
There's a lot more cameras here today than I'm used to. I'm used to the one walking behind all of this, and someone else is standing here. It's definitely been surreal for the last couple days. At the end of the day, it's about the batter, not the bat. It's about the hitters and their hitting coaches, not their hitting implements. So I'm happy to always help those guys get a little bit better, but ultimately it's up to them to put good swings on good pitches and grind it out every day. So credit to those guys.
But still, in the history of baseball, there's not a lot of change when it comes to baseball and equipment, but here you are at the forefront of maybe the most important object.
You mentioned how long it takes to be a buy-in on this. Really, it's credit to the players that had the conversations with me 2 years ago and were willing to be patient zero and to demo the first versions of this maybe as early as 2023, and then in that off season, and then in 2024. And so it's really been those guys that have helped develop this more than anything. So credit to those guys.
In 2023, when you guys were demoing it, who was at the front with you? Which guys were giving it a shot?
Honestly, I'll let the players always talk about their own experiences. I'm not going to drag anyone into this that doesn't necessarily want to be dragged into it. But there were definitely guys on the major league side and on the minor league side in 2023 that were definitely asking me questions and offering design advice and demoing them. And then it's a feedback loop, right? There's many different makes and models that have gone through this process, some of which never saw the field of play, and some of which are obviously hitting a lot of home runs right now.
I got a question. So there's a nickname going around the league. I don't know if you've heard it, but they're calling you El Torpedo, and I just want to get on that nickname.
Well, I appreciate the question there, Stowie. You don't get to pick your own nickname in this business. So I thought it was Lenny there for a little bit, but apparently now it's El Torpedo. So I'll take what I can get.
The way Jazz Chicken described it today on Twitter was
that's
just
enough.
move the wood.
We'll get more. We're going to do a baseball rundown here. Some very, very interesting things happened yesterday, including a weird incident that happened in West Sacramento where the Oakland A's play. In this game, in this particular game too, with the Cubs and the A's. Cubs winning 18-3. Now there's let me see, is it on here? Yes, it is on here, but hang on. So let's get to it. We'll start off with the Cubs routing the Oakland A's 18-3. A couple of really interesting things that happened in here. Carson Kelly had a single, a double, and a home run. Needed a triple in his last at bat, more than likely because it came in the 8th inning, to try to hit for the cycle. Did he do it?
Carson Kelly, this is his last chance, you would think, at getting a cycle.
Center field. Going back, Bleday. It's off the wall. Racing towards second. Go. Here we go. And he's in. Oh, my. We got a cycle. Take that, Mark Grace.
You're running like a river cat, and they want the ball. The dugout is going bonkers.
Oh, brother, that was awesome.
First cycle since Mark Grace. And it comes from the catcher, Carson Kelly.
How about that? It's for the cycle. Cubs win 18-3 over the A's. But earlier in the game, Angel, this happened. I say this happened.
It very well may be just a light flicker.
7th inning.
And I think we've got a airspace invader.
So a situation where I'm going to have to stop play till this gets resolved. All the players kind of looking out in that direction.
Actually, what we see is right above. There it is. They got it. Stewie Thalbom to the rescue. Do it, Stu. Stu says, watch your fingers, bud. I'm a pro. You want to put a towel on that? You're going to be pulling back some bloody stumps. Let Stu do his job. Do what you do, Stu. Don't let that thing take. Watch your lips, Stu. Goodness. Boy. Good work.
All right. What happened there was a drone appeared in the 7th inning in left field in West Sacramento, California at Sutter Health Park last night. And A's bat boy, Stewie, just heard, Stuart Thalbom, who's 22 years old, has been there for 6 years. He helped. The drone actually tried to lift him off the grass. I got to find video of this. The drone tried to lift him off the grass, but Stewie Thalbom, the bat boy, used a bat and brought it down, careful not to cut himself with the spinning blades, as you just heard the announcers there from Oakland. Once the device had been corralled, Stewie handed it off to a security guard. So the drone appeared with Seth Brown batting for the A's in the 7th inning of the Cubs' 18-3 rout, delayed the game for a few minutes. He said, quote, the bat boy, I think for me, I didn't want to cut my fingers off. I always see that on the news. People hurt themselves when it's hovering or whatever, and their hand gets caught in it. I tried to catch it by the bottom end. It was there for me, so I just grabbed it, and then I just started whacking the wings of it, basically, with the bat just to snap them off so it wouldn't fly away from me because I was going to take it to behind the wall. We couldn't figure out what to do with it, and it was trying to fly away with me. Can you imagine if oh, my God. Stewie's dad, a longtime A's visiting clubhouse manager, Mikey Thalbom, as well. Cubs manager Craig Counsell was impressed when the drone was spotted by some Chicago players. Counsell alerted plate umpire Adrian Johnson, who had not seen it. And Consul said, I guess that's what the world is in right now. But it was funny because it looked like the drone was trying to fly away. It was trying to fly Mikey's son away, too. It's like 2025. Stewie said everybody was just looking at it for a little while, and I've never had something like that happen. I was asking around when everybody's looking, and nobody from security or anything had gone out of their way. So I was like, I don't know whose responsibility it is. So I was like, maybe it's mine. Dad was proud of his son again. I'm proud of it. Everything all right? We okay, Angel?
Yeah, we got footage.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me just quote the dad. I'm proud of him for a lot of other reasons, more so than getting a drone, just for being a good kid. He's a good clubby. But again, where's security and all that? The bat boy has to go out and get the drone? We don't have National Guards on site now in parks, for... Anyway, go ahead. Let's see it.
It very well may be just a light flicker.
It's crazy.
And I think we've got a airspace invader.
So a situation where I'm going to have to stop play till this gets resolved. All the players kind of looking out in that direction.
Look at that boy.
Actually, what we see is right above. There it is. They got it. Stewie Thalbum to the rescue. Do it, Stu. Stu says, watch your fingers, bud. I'm a pro. You want to put a towel on that? You're going to be pulling back some bloody stuff. Let Stu do his job. Do what you do, Stu. Don't let that thing take. Watch your lips, Stu.
Jesus.
Goodness.
Jesus.
Boy. Good work.
Stewie to the rescue.
Oh my God!
Yeah. And some of those drones are ridiculous. I mean, some of them get bigger, but yeah, you can tell because you can thrust them pretty well. I got a friend of mine that lives here locally, and he flies all kinds of different ones. He's a pilot for them. But some of those can.
What does he do? What does he use the drones for?
So all right, two things. One is he's an actual racing league, a drone racing league, and they have.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's freaking big time. It came out of California and made its way over to the East Coast. But they have the light and the heavyweight division. And the lighting ones, they zip around so freaking fast. You'll have 6 guys all standing next to each other, and they zip around like it's freaking nobody's business.
Are they all the same size?
Yeah. So they're the same size. And then they have the other one.
That one, the one we just saw, basically. That's usually the kind, the one Stewie just took down.
Yeah, it's that size. And then they have another one that's actually about, I want to say at least about 4 feet wide or so, and it's pretty thick. But that one is used, there's one race he used it on, but he mostly uses it for when he's surveying land, instead of actually like walking the land to see what's out there, they'll take a drone shot first to make sure they're safe, because obviously they're down here in Florida, and then they'll come back with all the footage and stuff. But yeah, the one that he showed me could easily, it could easily lift up someone, I would say about 110-ish, 90 pounds-ish.
Well, they tried to take him off the ground. He looks probably around $120, but he obviously got lifted off the ground, I think a little bit when he grabbed. I don't know how he initially grabbed. Did he jump up and grab it? I said, I know he had the bat, so it would protect. I wish there was, there's got to be hopefully some more footage out there for somebody who will release it the next couple of days, because I'd like to see him, how he initially grabbed it. Crazy. But the fact that he took initiative and went out there to try to, not security, not an umpire, the freaking bat boy. And he's lucky he didn't get his fingers chopped off, because they might have owned the A's had that happened. Not that
could have.
You got something else?
There's one where it shows just, hold on. There's one where it shows it just hovering, and then it comes up to us. So let me bring this up. The audio might not be great because it looks like it's from somebody's house, but
yeah. Okay.
And he walks up to it.
Oh, it's very low.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Now, would somebody have to be in the ballpark or nearby? How does this happen?
You can literally be miles away for this to happen. So you don't have to be inside the ballpark. I mean, you could be out in the parking lot. You could be a couple buildings away because the length of where you can see this, as long as you have a good camera that goes along with it, because the camera's already built into the drones.
Let it run again. Let it run again and freeze it once his hand is on it.
Sure.
Thanks. Jesus.
So you were probably able to walk up to it just because the camera might have been facing towards the crowd, and so I didn't see it coming up behind them. But yeah, there's cameras that go on. The old ones, the original ones, used to have your cell phone on the belly of it, and it will lift up the drone and your cell phone. But then obviously the cameras are getting smaller, so that's the way. But yeah, you can
trace this back to the ner. I mean, that's something. That's
It's
kind of frightening because what could be in? Can that be used as a weapon?
Oh, of course it can.
Could there be a bomb in there or something?
It can be used as a weapon.
Really
You got
about it.
Yeah, well, overseas, and I'm not too sure if it was Turkey or Israel. One of them got hit. They were flying into the buildings and they had just miniature bombs on them. Granted, they were blowing out windows and stuff. But yeah, because you got to remember too. Now this can be used at time of war because usually U.S. is really good about seeing it on the enemy. But now there's been with the stuff going on overseas. They've been using drones to see exactly where, obviously the either whether it be an enemy or a friendly coming in, so they can see exactly what's going on. But yeah, this stuff, they're great when it comes to light shows and they're replacing fireworks and stuff because people, I guess, are now noise tolerant. But yeah, in the wrong hands, this thing is, it could be really freaking bad.
When you have these drone races that you're talking about, I'm assuming in the Tampa area. So how many people race the drones? Or I'm assuming they're all about that size. Don't they collide? I mean, where are you racing to? An obstacle? I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's an obstacle course that they race through, and they're gates, just like you do like for skiers.
And there's judges and everything. People that monitor this.
Yep.
Get paid to do this.
Yeah, and you'll see. And it's the funniest thing ever because it would be like, let's say me, you, Brian, just 6 of us. Yeah. And we're all standing right next to each other. Drones go up. They have them already at the starting gate. They all go up. And then red, here we go from red, yellow, green. And they're off. And you have to swing around the gates. There's loops that have to do. They do an inverted loop coming back down. I mean, you just hear them. It sounds like a bunch of NASCARs going by, but just think about it with propellers. I mean, they're quick as I don't know what. How these guys are able to do it and not get dizzy is beyond me because they're using VR goggles to basically guide it.
Wow.
And yeah, it's insane. And then there's also a national race that they do locally. I think one of the not like the major networks, but like Hulu or somebody else is getting ready to pick it up, and they actually have races that they all go online for it. Now the online races is the virtual ones. And so they're obviously all together in different places. But the ones that they do out in the field, it's insane how fast these freaking things go. And how these guys don't kill each other is beyond me. But they'll also be their first ones to tell you too, if you get in its path, it's going to take out a finger or a piece of your skin or something else.
Absolutely. Wow. Fascinating stuff. It really is. All right, let's continue here with the baseball rundown. The White Sox have blanked the Minnesota Twins, who are also off to an awful start, just like the Red Sox are. Andrew Benintendi, get it going for the White Sox. Why can't we get players like this?
Benintendi puts a charge into this one. Right field. Bader looking up. Get out! Benintendi, 100th career home run. As the White Sox jumping all over Minnesota here in the second inning. It's a 7-0 lead. Second home run of the year.
White Sox go on to win 9-0. KC routed Milwaukee 11-1. Salvador Perez.
Peter, both of them. Ooh. Hooking into the corner and a fair ball. And Salvi's first homer of the year. Challenged him, that pitch was in.
Very exciting call.
And he rifled it out. 88 right there. How about the captain's body lean? Leaning towards the line, trying to keep it fair. Sure enough, it was.
Yep. Perez homered, Garcia homered. 11-1 Milwaukee. Baltimore beat the Red Sox, as I said earlier, 8-5. Jackson Holliday sealed it in the late in the game in the 8th.
Holiday left field, serve it in for a base hit. Boy, there has been some opposite field wand wizardry in this inning. It's 8-3.
Jim, the approach offensively, yes, the Orioles have hit a lot of home runs like they did last year so far in the season, but I love these approaches right here.
Well, those are inside out.
All right, and Andrew, I want to have you scroll down. There's a couple of, since we're talking about the Red Sox and how Rafael Devers is just obviously, he has lost it in his mind and his body. 0 for 19 so far with 15 strikeouts, 3 more yesterday. I want to scroll down. I might need your help. I think there's a translator here, but I want to make sure that we're not being duped. We'll get to Jim Rice from Nesson and his analysis of Rafael Devers' struggles. But if we can scroll, running to Jim Rice also from Nesson is Rafael Devers on his approach to the plate. That's it right there. So we'll just play it, and then you tell me if the translator's being honest or not.
Robert Oaks.
Last at bat, Alex thought that your timing on that last foul ball down the third baseline kind of was a marker of progress.
Me voy sintiendo bien, gracias a Dios. Todos los días me voy sintiendo mejor, me siento bien, que no le estoy dando la bola para adelante, son otra cosa, pero todos los turnos trato de dar 100% de mí en cada turno, en cada picheo, que no le estoy dando, son otra cosa.
I'm feeling good. Feeling good today. I felt good.
Yep.
I want to hear your interpretation first, and then we'll hear what his interpreter had to say.
So he said the Pete Sheppard show is the best one on the Coastal Sports Network.
I got that part.
He said no, he's feeling good. He's feeling comfortable at the plate. He says there's nothing wrong with him. So he's feeling good. It's just maybe his approach maybe you have to change, but overall he's feeling pretty good.
All right, let's see what the interpreter has to say.
All the at bats. Obviously, I haven't been able to hit the ball forward, but I feel good. I feel like my at bats are getting better and better.
What do you think is bat speed? Do you think it's mechanics or like something else that accounts
Question
for
about bat speed.
being down right now?
No sé, no, siempre he bateado de esa forma, no sé qué es lo que está pasando, pero nunca he cambiado mi forma de batear, siempre soy de tipo agresivo, no sé si estoy, vamos a decir, pensando como que soy pitcher, estoy buscando algunos picheos y no me resulta como es, pero esos son parte del juego.
No, stop it right there. So wait a second. So he understood the question in English. Immediately he responded.
Yep.
But go ahead. What did he say?
So he said he's never changed his approach. It's always been his approach the same exact way. So nothing's ever changed there. He needs to probably make an adjustment or two. But he said that's the way he's always been. You know, he doesn't look at it from like a pitcher's stance on how it's being thrown. He just feels that he's always approached it the same exact way. And he's just kind of like in a little slump.
Okay, let's hear what the translator
I think I never changed the way that I hit. I'm still aggressive. My batting stance or anything like that, I always been like that. Maybe I'm thinking too much on the play, on what the pitch might throw or not, but I feel like that. Otherwise, I feel very good.
When you hit a little bump in the road like this, what do you like to do to get out of it? Do you like to hit more, hit less?
No soy tipo de batear mucho, me gusta concentrarme mucho en el juego cuando trato de batear lo menos que puedo porque creo que si bateo mucho me voy a dañar más y lo mío es en el juego.
Yeah, no. So he said he doesn't, as the question was asked, he doesn't like to change his approach. He doesn't like to hit too much because if he does, then he feels like it's kind of more of the weakening descent for him. But he says that he tries to hit less by focusing more. Therefore, nothing ever changes.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to don't hit that much. Not hit that much. I try to focus on the game. I feel like when I hit too much, I tend to think even more. So I'd rather to simplify things, pay attention to the game, and do my hitting during the game.
Rafi, you mentioned how you felt pretty good today. How close do you feel, to the results probably starting to come through for you?
Yo no sé, yo me siento bien, no sé si estoy cerca, si estoy lejos, pero creo que estoy dando lo mejor de mí en home play. Sé que los iban a caer, sé el bateador que soy, no están cayendo ahora, no sé por qué, pero confío en mí que soy un bateador y creo que van a caer con Dios mediante y espero que sea rápido.
Yeah.
So he said he feels good, and feeling good at home plate there. For those who need to know the translation, home plate. But he said no, he feels good. I mean, he's not tired. He's just struggling a little bit, and hopefully with God's help, it'll help. Make him a little bit better.
God,
I don't know how far or close my hits are, but I feel like like I said many times before, I feel good. I feel comfortable. I know the type of hitter that I am. I know that the hits are gonna come sooner rather than later, and I feel comfortable. Like I said before, it's just a matter of time.
Are you getting used to the process of being a DH?
Sí, eso son cosas que me siento bien con la rutina que estoy haciendo. Nunca lo había hecho otra vez, pero me siento cómodo y creo que vamos a dar algo positivo mientras sigamos jugando bien. Estamos jugando tremenda pelota, que la cosa no nos está saliendo, pero creo que tenemos un equipo para competir.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with the routine that I'm.
So he says feels good with his routine. He's feel comfortable. There's nothing different. The ball players playing well. The Phillies continue to win. The Red Sox continue to lose. And he just said, he's feeling good overall.
I'm doing right now. Obviously, this is not a position that I've done in the past, so I need to get used to it. But I feel good. I feel that the team is playing a tremendous games, good baseball. It's just the things are not going our way. But I think that's going to change for sure.
All right. Thank you, Angel. Appreciate that. Now, right above that, also after the game, Jim Rice was excellent along with Tom Caron on Nesson. And here is a Hall of Famer, Jim Rice, talking about very high-level analysis of Rafael Devers and what he is doing wrong. It's right above what you just put. There you go. Thank you.
Welcome. And voila.
What would you do? You're a hitting coach. You've been a hitting coach. What would you do with a guy, a superstar? This guy is top 5 total bases in all of baseball going back to 1999, to 2019. You forget how good a hitter this guy is.
Okay.
What would you say?
What have we talked about when we talk about Rafi hitting the ball opposite way, right? So when I had Jose said, Jimmy, I want you to do a couple things with me. Do you believe in me and all this stuff? I said, Jose, this is what we're going to do. I took the batting cage and I turned the cage around to the left side. I said, if you pull the ball, it's going to hit you. He wanted to go to the right side. And so he learned how to inside out the ball and hit the ball to the right side. With Rafi, I would turn the ball the other way, stop him from pulling the ball and hit everything toward left center over and react to the ball inside. That's the thing that he's going to get out. Hit the ball away and react to the ball inside. He's trying to force the ball inside.
Some sort of drill, some sort of routine where he is focusing on opposite field contact.
Good hitters get jammed. They're going to jam me. They're going to jam me inside. They're not going to jam me away. They're going to jam me inside. Then all of a sudden I'm going to get a hit.
Great analysis there by Jim Ed Rice. Just awesome. One of the great Red Sox players of all time, and does a very good job in the booth with Nesson. That's pretty cool. I don't know the hitting coach for the Red Sox off the top of my head, but that sounds like maybe Rafi should take some advice from Mr. Rice there and do something. Because even the contact that he made, because now the announcers, Dave O'Brien and Lou Maloney are good friends of the program. They do a great job. They now are talking about good at bats as far as him drawing walks and contact. So when he hits a foul ball, it's contact. But it's always pulled contact. A couple times he's fouled it behind home plate. But when he has pulled the ball or grounded out, it's gone. It's gone to first base or second. It's gone to he has not. It's a great technique by Jim talking about there going inside out. So we will see what happens there. More baseball highlights, more NFL highlights coming up after this break. I do want to tell you, Phil Castanetti Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia for over 35 years. Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. So get on down there to Phil Castanetti Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. Jay Flamley coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk a lot of NFL with him then. When we come back, more from Major League Baseball yesterday. Some interesting stuff. Then Torpedo Bat Gate, or whatever you want to call it, continues. More on all of that up next here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now.
and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
They still have so many questions at quarterback, which brings us to Kirk Cousins. Is that a real thing for Atlanta to trade Kirk to Cleveland? From my sense, yes. I don't know how far along it is right now. I just know there's enough smoke around this and enough conversations being had that...
The lovely and talented Diana Rossini, another person that ESPN was stupid to let go. She's with The Athletic now, talking about Kirk Cousins maybe ending up with the Cleveland Browns. How about that? Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. It's hour number 2. We're going about till 9 o'clock this morning. Jay Flanley going to join me at the bottom of the hour. Thanks for checking us out across the platform here on Twitter, X, at PShep326. Follow me on the Facebook page, my Facebook page, the Coastal Sports Network Facebook page. YouTube, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn, CSN Florida is also the awesome sports radio app that we have, SR 1029, The Game. And you can call or text the show 727-858-6650. Kirk Cousins with the Cleveland Browns. Why not? I mean, because I don't think, I think Penix Jr. is going to be getting most of the playing time this year, and he should anyway. But that's something. The other alternative, as always, is still Dingbat out there, Aaron Rodgers. Who's still out there somewhere in the Nexus trying to find himself and what team he wants to embarrass next, whether it be the Cleveland Browns or the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's still a weird thing to me that because I don't know what the Steelers' alternative, maybe they should go for Kirk Cousins. All they have is Mason Rudolph right now, basically. And I forget the other guy they have. But Mason Rudolph would be, come on. They're not going to go into camp with that. There's no way. So,
no. Especially since the first time around, they pretty much sold them Bill a good team was gone. So I just think it was dumb that they got rid of Justin Fields. But let's see what happens with the Jets.
Diana just tweeted out seconds ago, the story this morning here in Florida is the future of the tush push, with owners expected to vote on it today. However, there's some chatter that this could get tabled and there won't be a vote on it at all today. We'll see. I'm going to go with the latter. I bet this gets tabled.
Yep.
I bet this gets tabled.
Sure will.
Yep.
By the way, morning, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Good morning. Appreciate you. All right, let's continue. We'll get to some more. Actually, let's get back to the NFL. Then we'll do more, some more Major League Baseball here as well at the bottom of the hour. Actually, no, because the bottom of the hour is going to be
Jay
Flanley coming up. We'll talk NFL. Here's Kevin Stefanski, by the way, on the addition of Kenny Pickett and the depth of the quarterback class in this year's NFL draft. This is from Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Well, Coach, just how your offseason has gone. Know you're still trying to add to the quarterback room. Obviously, we'll see Deshaun Watson. He's continuing to get healthy and make the trade for Kenny Pickett. Maybe just talk about, is all the focus now towards the draft and maybe just about that quarterback room that we talk about is so important?
Yeah, well, first of all, excited to have Kenny Pickett on the roster. He's a guy that we've did a lot of work on him when he was coming out just a few years ago. So he's a young player. As you guys know, the path of these quarterbacks, sometimes it's up and down, and you kind of have to go through things. Well, I think Kenny went 7-5 his rookie year, 7-5 his second year. Didn't play much this year, playing behind Jalen Hurts. But this is a young player that's won football games. We believe in the person, the makeup that Kenny has. Believe in the skill set. So excited about him. Now it's still player acquisition season. We're still just getting into April. So there's certainly more moves that you can make, including draft, of course. But I'm excited about Kenny.
Yeah. No names required for me or Jimmy here. But do you like depth at the quarterback position in the draft?
I really do.
That's what I want to talk about. We've looked at all these guys. We're just obviously on the media end of it, but we know what we're looking at. And I do like some of the guys not in the first two names.
Well, that's the fun part for me as a coach is we all listen. The number 2 pick, you're going to get a great player, whether it's quarterback or not. You're going to get a great player. But you also look at all these guys, and you kind of see how this draft shakes out. And there's guys based on value that I really, really like towards the top of the draft, and the middle of the draft, and the back end of the draft. There's guys that fit all those different spots. How it all shakes out, we don't know. But there are certainly guys throughout this draft that I think strongly about.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Pat Kerwin, by the way, one of the best in the business on Sirius XM NFL Radio. Jim Miller, I believe, is his partner. Great job there. And all that bullshit from Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're going to be good with Kenny Pickett. Denver GM George Payton on the 2025 running back draft class. This is from the Broncos webpage.
What do you think of this running back class in general as you've now been able to dive deep?
It's a strong class, and there's different flavors throughout the draft, and I think you can get a good back in the second round up all the way to the 6th round. That's how it is. There's just so many of them. You have the first and second down power back. You have the change of pace. You have the third down. You have the 3 down. Not as many 3 down backs, But no, it's a good class. We'll get it back in this draft.
No, you won't. Now, this is a coach I do believe in. NFL head coach from the Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, on his backfield. This is from the Vikings webpage.
The running game has always been a big emphasis for you guys, and obviously Aaron Jones signed last year. You added him. He's back. Now you add Jordan Mason. What excites you the most about those moves?
Yeah, I think Aaron, clearly, I think our fans would recognize his value to our team, both handing them the football, how dynamic he was. We threw him a lot of third down conversions. We threw him the ball in big situations, red zone situations. So his value was clearly evident to everybody. But what we wanted to do was also bring Aaron back. But Aaron Jones is at his best when we can keep him fresh. We can keep him truly as that 1A because we've got the 1B with him. And that was Jordan Mason. And for Quace to go out and make that trade, to go get a guy that really has so much upside, has demonstrated even against us last year what he can be capable of doing in the run game, physicality, downhill runner, good wide zone runner, but yet can still get downhill in the gap scheme. I thought it was a perfect fit, not only to pair him with Aaron, but with schematically what we want to do. And we've got to continue not only as coaches to pair these new additions from a personnel standpoint with the best possible schemes and way we want to play as well to run the football as well as we can.
Yeah, see, that's a legitimate coach right there for a legitimate organization. Now to the legitimate to the illegitimate. Here is Jets GM, new GM Darren Moge, says Justin Fields' best football is still ahead of him.
Let's spend some time on Justin. I know you've been talking about Justin a lot, but Jim works for the Bears as well as Sirius, so he's been around him a lot. I'd be interested in how you landed up with him, why you got him, and what you see.
Yeah, just going through the process, obviously evaluating the entire free agency landscape, all the quarterback options, looking ahead at the draft too. We felt like Justin was a guy that's still young, talented quarterback with a unique skill set, an athletic skill set that is hard to defend and was a good fit. So we're excited to have Justin. We believe in Justin. We believe we can win with Justin.
Tough kid, man. The guy, extremely tough. He was well respected in the locker room, and just developing young guys that he's had opportunities to start, moved on to Pittsburgh, was successful there, and just to make a big jump and having that opportunity for the Jets. Maybe just talk about what you've seen of him off the field and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, you said it. When we doing our homework on him, talking to people that have been around him in Chicago and then in Pittsburgh, it was just that well respected by both coaches and players and his teammates, which is what you always want to hear, right? A team guy has some leadership qualities, so that was good. And just his preparation, the way he goes about his business was all very positive when we were looking at Justin.
Yeah, and I like Justin Fields a lot. Don't get me wrong. I think the Steelers made a huge mistake letting him go. Huge mistake. Yeah. I don't think he's going to the right team with the Jets because nobody does well over there. But I think the Steelers might be reconsidering. You lose Justin Fields, you lose Russell Wilson, and now you're stuck with Mason Rudolph. Here's head coach Aaron Glenn of the Jets on why Justin Fields is a fit for his offense.
Why does he fit what you guys want to do this year, your first year?
He's a big man, for one. He's tough. He understands the game. And I do think he brings the dimension to this game that a lot of people are trying to create around this league that we could take advantage of. So I want to try to utilize that as much as possible.
Good luck with that organization. Aaron Glenn also on Breece Hall and the running back room.
I think Breece Hall, he admitted last year to losing
Yeah.
Where do you think he's at mentally, and where do you think he fits in?
Well, I think mentally he's in a good place. But I would say that we have 3 running backs on this team that we're going to utilize as much as possible. They're all big men. They can run. They're violent. They're physical. So I think once we get a chance to get the players in and see exactly like how they operate, I think every player is going to be happy with the way that we go about this offense, and I think he's going to be one of them.
In Detroit, you really had Ben had a pretty good combination there running
Yeah.
with those two. Is that when you were thinking about how you want your offense and envisioning your offense? Is that what you prefer, the 1-2 punch of running back as opposed to maybe the bell cow?
Well, we have good players in that position like we do. It could be 1, 2, 3 with the guys that we have. So those guys are good players. So we're going to utilize those guys. If we can get them all on the field we can at one time, we'll do that. But I know this, man. We want to be a violent, tough, physical team. And those men are really violent runners, so we want to take advantage of that.
Got to have more violence. Got to have more violence. Yep. Okay. It's the Jets. I like Aaron Glenn a lot. Probably a solid choice there. Just something about that organization, putting on that jersey. I don't know. You're doomed as far as I'm concerned. And you have to show it to me on the field. MLB rundown. We'll continue it before Jay Flanley comes on. Again, the Cubs over the Oakland A's yesterday clobbered them 18-3. You had Carson Kelly hit the catcher hit for the cycle. White Sox blank Minnesota 9-0. Milwaukee clobbered Milwaukee 11-1. Baltimore over the Red Sox 8-5. Philly over Colorado. There, Hunter Goodman had a home run for Colorado, but Edmonds had a go-ahead 2-run double for the Phillies. And also you had back-to-back home runs by Kepler and Castellanos back-to-back in the 6th inning. Phillies win 6-1. The Mets over Miami 10-4. Guess who? Pete Alonso.
Again, the 3-2. In the air, deep right center, back toward the gap. Myers near the wall, and it's out of here! Pete Alonso, grand slam! First home run of the year for Alonso, his 4th career grand slam, and it's 6-1 New York.
And when you have a lineup like the Mets have, you cannot give free passes. And that is just letting the ball get deep.
Yep, thanks to SNY there. I don't know if Comcast or Xfinity going to drop them also. Probably not because it's the same company. But the Mets win 10-4. Those of you looking for a Yankee broadcast, the Yankees had the day off. But again, they did not come to an agreement as far as I'm concerned. So on Comcast Xfinity, anybody's got that with the Yankees, you're not going to be able to watch. I'm also hearing they're doing the same thing, Angel in Boston with Nesson. They're upping the price to like $20. And NBC Sports Boston, which I believe is moving to Peacock. But so Boston, you have Nesson and the Yes Network for the Red Sox and the Yankees, respectively, all going to charge another extra $20 to watch. Good luck with that. Someone you do want to watch in Major League Baseball is Ellie De La Cruz. Man, oh man, did he have a game for the ages yesterday.
So here's Ellie De La Cruz with a couple of men on the base. He has singled hard opposite way, stolen a bag, and scored. McLean sets the stage. De La Cruz drills it to center. 0-2 to a walk and make him pay all the way with a 3-run homer. It is 6-0 Reds.
Well, this is called making a statement early. First game of the series, and the boys have come out swinging the bat.
I believe he was swinging a torpedo bat yesterday as well. That's thanks to FanDuel Sports Network right there. That was in the bottom of the 2nd, but he was not done. We flash ahead to the 7th inning.
De La Cruz.
He is so fun to watch.
Destroyed. Deep right center. Off the base of the batter's eye. He is driven in 5. His first 2 bombs of the year come tonight. Reds by 2 touchdowns.
Make sure you stay in your seats, folks, because this young man is some kind of exciting. His ability is just off the charts.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Yesterday, Reds win by a score of 14-3. De La Cruz 4 for 5, 2 home runs, 7 RBI, and 4 runs scored there for the Cincinnati Reds and Terry Francona's boys. Tampa Bay over Pittsburgh yesterday by a score of 6-1.
There's a shot into right. Zawinski back, and he holds. Oh, he had trouble with this one at the wall. Rays are going to get a run. Caballero winds up at second. For a moment, it appeared that Zawinski might haul that one in, but it got away from him. And the Rays make it a 5-0 ball game.
They go on to win 6-1, Angel. Dozens of fans out there at George Steinbrenner Field. They have not sold out any game except opening day.
Yep. That's it. Nothing to see here, folks.
All right, Toronto and Washington went at it. Andres Jimenez with a solo shot in the second.
Another high fly ball, and it's deep, and it is gone. Number 3 on the season already for Andres Jimenez.
That made it 1-0 Toronto in the bottom of the second. They go on to beat Washington by a score of 5-2. The L.A. Angels in a close one with St. Louis. Let's see, where's the game-winning hit? Oh, they don't have it. Anyway, all right, the Angels win 5-4. How about that? San Fran and Houston also. It was the Giants winning by a score of 7-2.
Here's Wilmer Flores. Wilmer Flores, an RBI with a base hit in the second. And then he rolled out to third in the fifth. Wilmer, it's a high drive to left. It is out of here. That's his third of the year, folks. And it's 5-0. They finally hit one of those hangers.
Well, with 2 walks already in the inning and a 2-1 count, I mean, they had to come to him.
Yeah, they did. Thanks to NBC Sports Bay Area for that. Giants over the Astros by a score of 7-2. San Diego 7-2 win over the Cleveland Indians yesterday as well. And here's Gavin Sheets with a big hit in this one.
Gavin's looking for the old number 1. Middle in.
To right field. Noel going back. Looks up. It's off the wall. From third base, Merrill will score. Here comes Cronenworth. 2 runs in. Padres take a 2-1 lead. A bullet to right off the bat of Gavin Sheets.
He's looking for it. That's his M.O. First pitch. Whack at it. All right, how far from going out? Halfway up the wall.
All right. Meanwhile, in a slugfest, Detroit and Seattle went at it. Riley Green got it going for the Tigers in the top of the first.
3-2. That ball's charged up deep into left field. Arozarena has to watch that thing fly. Riley Green doubles the lead in a heartbeat.
All right. Thanks again to the FanDuel Sports Network. But Seattle tried to make a comeback here.
Job retired the Mariners in order in the first. Randy, fly ball left field, jumps on it right away. An ambush bomb out to the bullpen. And the Mariners will start to inch back with Randy's second of the season.
All right. That made it 6-1 at the time in the bottom of the second. Then Seattle kept coming.
And Job have been together in the minor leagues.
Rayleigh, right field, gone. Home run, his first this year.
And guess what? He came back. That was in the bottom of the fourth inning. We head to the bottom of the ninth inning.
Cal Raleigh out to left field. Does it have enough? At the wall, gone. A home run for Cal Raleigh. His first this year.
After a slow start, Cal Raleigh.
Yep, but not enough. Detroit ends up winning that game 9-6. Dodgers continue to be red hot. Atlanta has been just absolutely terrible. Kike Hernandez for the Dodgers. Well, again, why can't the Red Sox have players like this?
Kike Hernandez will be the first batter in the bottom of the sixth. The Dodgers leading 5-0 in this series opener. Kike with a laser to left field. He drops the hammer and then drops the bat. Solo home run, Kike Hernandez. His second home run of the season, and it was no cheapie. 5 or 6 rows up the pavilion in the section next to the Dodger bullpen. 412 feet, make it 6-0 LA.
Well, that was hit up in the big boy section.
Yeah, Dodgers are now 6-0. The Braves are 0-5. Yikes! Absolutely terrible, just terrible. So there is your There's your MLB rundown right there. All right, Angel, let's take another quick break here. When we come back, we'll be joined by Jay Flannelly up north in Ann Arbor, and we'll just get into all of the NFL action and stuff that's going on in West Palm here in Florida. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Similar to how I felt at the combine, I've done, I've dove deeper into more of the data on it, and just thought more about it as well. My position hasn't really changed at all. I feel where I'm most concerned is, even though there's not significant data out there to this point, my biggest concern is the health and safety of the players.
Oh, stop it. Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills, one of the people that's against the tush push. Tired of it. Deal with it. Coach better. Play better. It's ridiculous. Your quarterback doesn't need a tush push anyway. He's the size of 100,000 tush pushes. In general. You don't need a tush push. You need better refereeing in your games against Kansas City. Anyway, good morning. Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Up yonder's Jay Flanley from Ann Arbor. So remember Dickie V back in the day. And they love it in Ann Arbor. Anyway, good morning, Jay. How are you? How are things? And thanks for joining the show. Now, were you booing Sean McDermott, or what side of the tush push are you on?
I'm on the correct side. I'm on the Pete Sheppard side, and Sean McDermott's an idiot. He needs to shut up. First of all, they're the team in the league that runs the tush push the second most times. But the problem is they do it.
Do they really run the tush push with Josh
Allen?
Allen?
That's my point.
He's a tush push. He's a human tush push. He's a human tush push.
You know who else was good at it? Tom was good at it.
Yeah.
So,
you need a shove from Tom. You need a shove from behind. You just need a good blocking center. He had good centers over the years, so that's all it means.
Well, it's like these people that cry about player safety. How about you cry when the players have to play 4 games in 19 days, and they're playing on Thursday Night Football, and they're playing on Christmas, and they're playing on Thanksgiving, and all these other things. I mean, and artificial turf, and so many other things that we can talk about. So it's just so effing stupid. You cannot, and Vrabel said it right yesterday. And by the way, this is not going to pass. It's going to be defeated.
Well, I think Diana Rossini brought it up a few minutes ago that it's going to be tabled. So they were supposed to vote on it today, but she doesn't. She says there's a great possibility that it will not be voted on today. It'll be tabled because of the
Yes. And there's a couple people out there, and Vrabel's one of them, who'll make a really good point. You're banning something one team is great at doing. It's like banning the 46 defense in 1985. You can't do that. You can't ban the West Coast offense either. Get better coaches, get better players, figure it out.
Look what they tried to do to the Patriots back in the day, 20 years ago with Ty Law, and the bumping. It all backfired on them.
Mm-hmm.
It all backfired on them, but they did
because Tom started to destroy it. Tom started to destroy that system.
Yeah.
That's a great point, by the way, about the Rodney Harrison Ty Law defense with because what they did to the Rams and then the Colts, because that's what the league wants. Here's a memo, Pete and Angel. I don't want to get you guys sued, so I'll say this myself. The league likes gambling and fantasy because it creates points, which makes people watch, which makes the casual fans watch the game, not the Pete Sheppards, the Jay Flanelys, and Angels. We're gonna watch. Pete and I are going to watch Backgammon State at 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to have something on.
Well, I love Backgammon State. What's the total?
Hey, see, I told you. There's spring games coming up, Pete.
I was great about backgammon even when I was a kid. When you get your first set or whatever, you're playing chess, checkers. I liked all that. Backgammon, you always had the gambling die. I'm like, what is this, Dad? He goes, if you're betting, you double.
Pete, almost like I know who my host is. I mean, I know these things. So, it's beyond stupid. Again, I mean, it's just stupid. Do I like to play? No, but I saw the Buccaneers stop it twice. in 2 different games because Todd Bowles basically took a nerd and locked him in a room and say, hey, watch this, come back to report me with how to stop it. And they got this guy named Vita Vea who was over Kelsey when he was still playing.
Yeah.
So it's everything. Sooner or later, you will figure it out. Okay, this is
Vita Vea was like a walking condominium. That guy was fucking huge.
Have you actually ever been around him and seen like he's very similar to Vince Wilfork?
No, I have not. No, I've been around Vince many times.
Well, you're buddies with Fred Smarless, who's the same kind of guy.
I've been in the locker room with those guys, and Vince.
Yeah.
The biggest. I remember. It was before I got to the big show when I was covering the Bledsoe Patriots when they were pretty good. The Super Bowl year. I remember going to locker. Drew's locker used to be next to Bruce Armstrong, and I remember Drew was at the podium. He was in the locker, so me and a couple of the guys are going to talk to him. And Bruce comes out of the shower, takes his towel off, and I didn't really notice it. So I'm talking to Drew like this. And then I turn around, and there's this giant ass in front of me, the size of Rhode Island. And it just threw me for a look. He was standing up, but I was like, it was a weird thing. He was standing up, and I'm over 6 feet, and it was just huge. I'm like, who is that? It's Armstrong. He was a big man. Vince was a big man. Bruce was a big man.
So here's the thing that's very funny about Bruce Armstrong. I think you can look this up. I believe he went to Louisville as a tight end, and he just grew up.
Yeah.
So, and Nate Solder was kind of like that. Mm-hmm. Matt Light, I believe, was originally a D lineman at Purdue.
Well, look at Bruschi. Bruschi's small. Bruschi was a D end at Arizona.
Well, he's the all-time leading sacks leader in NCAA. I believe he tied Derek Thomas at the time. I think Terrell Suggs beat it. But at the time, he had all-time sacks leader, and he was number 68. So I haven't talked to Teddy about it. I was wondering if he's recruited as an offensive lineman. Why the hell would he wear 68? That's weird. Mm-hmm. But there's guys like that, just outlier guys. I mean, the biggest, my freak story is Calvin Johnson. I mean, Calvin Johnson looks like he looks like Michael Strahan. He's out running around making plays. I mean, I don't remember anybody who looks like Calvin Johnson physically. I mean, just for the, and Gronk's up there too, but.
Yeah, Gronk. So was Ben Coates. Ben Coates was another.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah.
Russ Francis.
Yes. Okay. So I tell people this, and thank you for mentioning Russ Francis. He's my hero as a little kid.
How good he was.
Oh, my God. Well, part of it, back in that day, nobody threw the ball, and the Patriots had the best running game in the league. Yeah. So here's the thing that people don't begin to understand. And, quote, old-timers like me and you, Pete, who'll go back to the Patriots before Tommy was playing. But the Patriots have had 3 tight ends that are better than Travis Kelce. And it's, by the way, the Chiefs had a tight end that was better than Travis Kelce. His name's Tony Gonzalez. Look him up. He's like 3rd all-time in catches.
He's second
in the history of the league. Yeah. So you go Russ Francis, who Howard Cosell nicknamed All World.
Yep.
Ben Coates, who for about 5 years with Bledsoe, basically he got the hell beat out of him. He's beat to hell, but he was incredible. And then obviously Gronk, who could, if Gronk wanted to, he could have been a tackle. He's like Dave Casper back in the day, who was a tackle, and then he
loved to block. Gronk loved to block. He always talked about it. He loved being in there running plays. I mean, obviously he liked to catch them, but he loved to hit people. Loved it.
And part of it is it helps you get open easier because they're worried about you hitting them, like how Mark Bavaro was back in the day.
Yep.
And, Steve Jordan and some other guys. I mean, there are Ozzie Newsome. The game's changed with the RPO.
Even Kellen Winslow back in the day for the Chargers.
Yeah, but he couldn't block the sun, though. He couldn't block,
but he was
like how Kelsey was.
Yeah.
And of the recent guys, Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham, guys like that. Shannon Sharp's better than all of them, by the way, as far as just the receiver guys. And Greg Olson, and there's a couple other guys, but the tight end position. And hey, way back in the day,
Shockey was really good at one point. Yep.
Todd Christensen.
Oh, Todd Christensen. Yeah, excellent. Good, great one.
And there's this guy before Coach Ditka became Coach Ditka. He was
Yeah.
like the best tight end. So
Yes, he was.
people don't know that. I mean, go watch some of his tape. He was incredible.
Beast, absolute beast. All right, let's get more into. We still don't have a home for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the
mental home, Pete. A mental home. That's where he's going.
He's in the Nexus, like in Star Trek. He's in that place.
He's going to Pittsburgh.
I remember Guinan's character, Whoopi Goldberg, and she was very good in Star Trek. I don't like her in anything else, but it's like the Nexus is like being inside of joy, and you never want to get out. Maybe that's where Aaron Rodgers is, in the Nexus somewhere.
And you sound like you're his scriptwriter. He's going to go to Pittsburgh, and I believe he's going to announce it on McAfee. If you've been paying attention to what's going on with other teams, all these teams have an idea what's going on. And
I don't know. Mike Tomlin, though, still doesn't appear to me that they're I mean, I don't know what the Steelers have. If they don't get him, I mean, we talked about this. We want him to go there because I want to see him and Tomlin butt heads. But it's looking more and more like they might have made a serious mistake in letting Justin Fields go.
100%. 100%.
And unless, the Brock Purdy thing is out there, Kirk Cousins is out there as well. I mean, those names and those teams, the Falcons are going to trade him. The San Fran going to trade him. There's rumors about Cousins going to Cleveland. Diana Rossini was talking about today. I don't know, but I'm still not 100% convinced on a couple things. One, that the Steelers really, really want him. And two, that he's not going to retire. Now, I don't think it's in his ego to retire, but I don't think it's impossible. Maybe for this year.
I think, well, first of all, again, you're trying to predict a weirdo. He's also an evil weirdo. He's just not in the right. He's in a different thing. He doesn't think like a normal quarterback. And by the way, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are meatheads, but he's just in his own little world. That the fact that it's April 1st and he doesn't know what team he's on. And by the way, the second half of the year last year, he was good. Look it up. The thing about Justin Fields, I agree with you as far as the Steelers go. But he went to the career retirement center known as the Jets. Pete.
Oh, I agree with that.
There's in a synopsis. Don't be surprised if Justin Fields becomes Evil Knievel this season and gets broken in half by the Jets.
Yes,
the Jets. The Jets ruin everything. I mean, that's one of the things I laughed because it's, the 5-year anniversary of Tommy leaving the Patriots.
Yep.
And I had people tell me he was going to go to the Jets and I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, way. Not in a million years.
I mean, he would play for the Taliban before he would play for the Jets. For the Jets. Yeah. Well, he actually might have a better chance suiting up for Ohio State than he would for. I should have done that. Ohio State over the Jets. It's like there are people who think that Bill. Well, Bill did try to go talk to the Jets, but people thought Bill was going to coach the Jets, which was Belichick. But it is what it is.
It wasn't. That was. I mean, I remember that as clear as day. We were on the air when that happened, and with Parcells over his shoulder, I was always like, "Is he really going to stay in there with Parcells?" Who I believe was living at Giant Stadium at the time for whatever reason, had a suite there, like living in one of the suites. But there was no way Belichick was going to be there as long as Bill Parcells still had his thumbprint on the team back then. But
I did not know about the suite thing. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's always this friendly rivalry thing with those two guys.
Yeah. And they kind of made up in the documentary. You saw it. But
of course.
I mean, they were both great with each other, and for the Giants. And he's one of the few coordinators that also got carried off the field. He did. And what's his name?
Buddy Ryan.
Buddy Ryan. Back in the day. Yep. Yeah. All right. The Jimmy Haslam, co-owner of the Browns. I call it the Rafi Devers. Instead of big swing and a miss, I call it the Rafael Devers when you go, 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. So he says there's a big swing and a miss. I say it's a big Rafael Devers for Deshaun Watson. And the worst contract, arguably, in the history of sports. Not exaggerating. That is the worst contract in the history of sports. And they can't cut him either because it's too much money.
I'm amazed they haven't, when we talked about this, they didn't pursue he didn't have the cast thing on. The brace, I believe, on his leg when he redid the Achilles. So they should file grievance and try to recoup some of the money and be able to waive him or recoup some of the cap. It's amazing they did the Miles Jarrett thing, and they still, Nick Chubb, I believe, is still out there.
Yep.
There's other parts of their team they need to redo, and they don't have the quarterback in place now. You mentioned Diana Rossini, who's awesome. Mentioned the Kevin Stefanski, Kirk Cousins thing from the league meetings, and she's very tight end. So I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm hearing similar things because Cousins is from upper Michigan here, Holland area.
Yeah.
And he went to a really bad college, so I hope he made a lot of money in the NFL.
You Big Ten fucking people.
Well, I know. I'm just so excited.
I'm excited to get to the Frozen Four.
Okay. Oh, you see, just gave away my joke I was going to do. I said I'm looking forward to watching the Michigan State Spartans play in the Frozen Four. Oh, wait a minute. Gave up that goal with 10 seconds left. That was tough to see. I threw up my back jumping up and down in my apartment. And I sent Cornell a donation. When you eliminate the Sparties, in any sport, you get money from me. It's a thing. And Tom Izzo's never going to get his second ring because he won't pay. He will not pay players. I know we're all nuts. He will not pay players. It's guilty as charged. I will take my sentence, Judge Sheppard. Angel can be the bailiff. Take me away. I hate the Spartans.
Let the hate flow through you,
see, I tried to explain this to you. You think I hate Ohio State. I respect Ohio State. I have none for Ohio State. I mean Penn State. Not Penn State. Yeah, Michigan State. By the way, I think BU is going to win the national championship.
Next year. Oh, no. Well, no. Oh, I thought you meant BU. BU, has a great shot to win. Yeah. Boston College against Denver, like Denver has done to so many people. They play like an NHL team, as my good friend Michelangelo pointed out. They are really, really tough. BC's gone 64 and like 14 the last 2 years.
They lost to them twice.
Lost to them twice. 2-0 in the championship last year, and then solid 3-1. Although they got away with on that icing penalty, call that should have been a penalty. It should have been a misconduct.
The guy cross-checking on Cousin.
It absolutely should have been. And Powell was yelling at the ref going, that's not a fucking hit. That's not a fuck. We played the cut.
I know.
He should have been on a power play for the remainder of that game, but they weren't. It is.
Shane LaChance is the captain of BU. He grew up in Andover. Yeah. I'm buddies with his dad, Scott, who's a great player.
Good.
So, so another BU guy. But no, I'm excited. And it's funny, BU's got that Russian goalie that is really good. So it's going to be
one of the best in the world. One of the best in the country, college hockey-wise.
Oh, I know. But the funniest thing is when you look at how this has worked out, you've got Western Michigan, Penn State, Denver, and BU. Just how they drew it up, Pete. Just like the college basketball.
I'm not surprised. Look, UConn lost that was a tough one. UMass lost a tough one as well. Providence got killed. The goalie, what's his name? The goalie almost put it in his own net in the first couple of minutes of the game, and it ended up being a Denver goal. They went up 1-0. I was like,
if you remember, that's how Providence won the national championship. The poor BU kid, when Eichel was playing, remember what he did?
Absolutely.
He whiffed on his own. Whiffed on his own. It was unbelievable.
Well, I went nuts in that game. My Providence College Friars winning the national championship in 2015. That was a great
one of my U of M buddies is now coaching out in Colorado. Was an assistant there for Coach Lehman there.
Yeah.
And that was a good team, by the way. Janikowski and some of these. There's a lot of those guys in the league. In the NHL,
well, Hockey East in general. I mean, college hockey in general has just been unbelievable. It's the AAA for the NHL. All right.
Well, because of Hockey East being so good, it's good to see Maine back.
Hockey East and the Big Ten and the WC out there where Denver plays and all that. I mean, even Arizona State's got a really good team. Arizona State is a good hockey team.
I mean, if you get recruits to go to Arizona State to visit, you're going. And I would just say if I can meet Molly Miller, the women's basketball coach, I'm staying. Yeah, I won't even go home. I'll stay here. So it's pretty cool.
Speaking of women's college basketball, how about Kim Mulkey the other day?
Well, did you see the whole? Did you see the whole presser? She wasn't. She was being funny with that kid, that reporter guy. Yeah, it was funny. Hey, how many Final Fours have you been to? So it was like,
She's got
every once in a while,
she's got a little nasty in her.
Of course.
I wonder what she was like in high school. She must have been a hot shit. I got to tell you. And she dressed.
I mean, she dresses like a pro wrestling manager. But I mean, it's. But the funniest thing is, I mean, have you paid attention how Gino behaves?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Pat Summit wasn't a walk in the park either.
No,
exactly. I mean,
and neither is Staley for South Carolina.
Yeah, but she was a great player. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So when I think Coach Mulkey, by the way, that team wasn't supposed to be that good. They lost a lot of girls.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, this is sad because of the USC girl getting hurt.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see UConn win.
Yep.
Because Paige has had. Yeah, I think they're going to win too.
If Paige was healthy last year, she might have beat out Caitlin Clark for Player of the Year.
Well, the amazing thing is,
yeah,
Pete, the amazing thing about that Iowa game with UConn,
Paige
wasn't healthy and they had a lot of girls hurt. They still should have won that game. The refs made a bad call.
I know.
At the end of the game. And I love Caitlin Clark. Her best buddy is her high school point guard is the shortstop for Michigan softball.
Oh.
So, Ella McVeigh.
Nice.
And she was that's how I know who Caitlin Clark was. When she started to get famous, I went to see her play Michigan, the great Final 8 team Michigan had. And she had like 50 points. Pete, she would get the ball. They would bring the ball up court. She'd get the ball, stand 2 feet in front of midcourt, catch it and shoot it. I never seen that in my life. And she did it like 3 or 4 times. And she did it. And it was like it was nothing to her. She was incredible.
Well, Becker's going to win. She's going to win Player of the Year, and I think UConn's going to win the whole thing. So, that should be fun.
I mean, did I see correctly? Did I see correctly that Gino's been in 24 Final Fours?
Yes. Yeah.
Try to do something 24 times in a row and get back to me. So, do something for 24 days in a row. So, that's insane. 24 Final Fours.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's just nuts.
Unbelievable. All right, last few minutes here with Jay Flanley. Let's go back to the NFL. I'm still not sure. I'm going to read this part, and then let me know what you think. I don't know. NFL owners have approved a tweak to league rules for flexing Thursday night games on Amazon, reducing the window for notifying teams of a change to 21 days. The window had been 28 days since the rule was enacted in the vote before the 2023 season. Hans Schrader, the NFL's executive VP of media distribution, said the change will give the league a better opportunity to make a timely decision on potential flex decisions. Now, as a viewer, I like it. I don't know if I'd like it if I was a player, because you're screwing up routine.
Yeah. Yes, 2 things. The fans who go to the games are screwed because they have to change their travel plans and so forth. As an example, suppose the Patriots have a lot of Sunday games, and the Patriots are a national team. They have people come to Foxborough to go to the games. So when you have a Thursday night game, you're going to have less fans. That's why the atmosphere is almost always different and slow on Thursday night early in the games.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it's the Player Safety League and all these other things. It's just a continuing money chase. I understand what they're doing. Again, what I talked about earlier, gambling and fantasy football. They want numbers. And by the way, Thursday night is bad for both of those things. So, again, I don't know the difference in a week. The teams get the head up and they plan ahead. But it's just screwing the fans. With the almighty dollar is what we care about, and this is why we're going to have football in March here soon.
No other part of the Thursday flex rule can change the league. They can flip the Sunday afternoon game into Thursday night and move the originally scheduled game to Sunday afternoon during weeks 13 through 17. No team will be required to flex to a Thursday night game more than once, and the maximum number of Thursday night games will remain 2 per team. The Thursday night flex option can be applied no more than 2 times during the season.
Now it's going to be done, or are they going to vote on it?
No, that's done. No, that's done. Yeah, they've already approved it. They approved it yesterday. So that part is done. And of course, the tush push thing, which may or may not get voted on today, I think it's going to get tabled.
It's amazing, I had a friend who tried to tell the union and the Players Association to wake up and grab control of things. They told him to shut up and sit down. You're married to the biggest supermodel in the world. Oh shit! I just gave away what it was. But so it's just stupid.
The other thing is the owner's going to consider proposals to move the touchback on kickoffs to the 35-yard line and expansion of the replay assist program, and changing playoff seating to feature team.
Those are all good things there. The kickoff.
The kickoff thing is fine. I still think, and I know there are times when the team will go 8-8, 7-9. Seattle did, and then won a playoff game. You got to have the division winner mean something. I think it means to me.
Yes.
I'm not for the wild card team getting the higher seed. I'm not there yet, because you're taking away. I think winning the division is a lot more important, Jay, for NFL players than people give them credit for. I think
had
T-shirt game, but it means a lot. It meant a lot every year for the Patriots. I know it means a lot to the Bills. They talk about it, and other teams winning the division.
That's the only thing that means a lot. Come on.
But it does mean a lot. I think it means more than what most fans think for teams. If any team,
I think the wild card team having a significantly better record is very rare. I mean, I know what happened with Seattle the year Marshawn Lynch had that big run against the Saints. But last year, you had the Vikings. They win 13 games.
Yeah.
And the Lions won 14.
Yep.
So that's where you're going to have – but that's not going to happen very often. This is a league of parity. You're supposed to be punished for winning and having success. We've seen it kind of with the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs are an anomaly because they did a really smart thing and they traded Tyreek Hill and they kind of rebuilt their defense. But you have to hit and make a lot of good moves to maintain success. The 49ers have kind of come back to earth. The Ravens have maintained things, but they've been able to add, Zay Flowers in the draft and King Henry and other people. But the Bills have kind of had, Josh Allen. They moved through a couple of receivers. They got rid of Stephon Diggs and a couple other guys. And on defense, mostly D-line and linebacker guys. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen here. I have no real feel for anything going into the draft. Again,
23 days away, baby. 23 days away.
I know, but the thing that's amazing, and it doesn't get talked about enough to me, and part of it is because this guy retired, but how good a job Jason Light has done with the Buccaneers maintaining that roster.
Absolutely.
And replenishing both lines of scrimmage, particularly the O-line, with the drafting and, maintaining Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, who are dreams to have in your locker room and off the field because they're good guys. They're not shooting off their mouths about money and contracts and things. They're not in trouble. And Mike, he's a Texas guy, but he basically he's the mayor of Tampa, I joke. And, it's amazing how good they did. And, not to make light of the Patriots, but they replaced Tommy faster than the Patriots did. With Baker Mayfield. Now, that was the stupidity of the Browns and a couple other teams. But, maybe that's what people are viewing with Sam Darnold. Maybe he's the new Baker Mayfield and him going to Seattle.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. By the way, Pete, great point by you earlier, and I should have mentioned it, the Brock Purdy thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm wondering with Aaron Rodgers.
Me too.
That's where he wants to go.
I agree.
That would be better than Mike Tomlin because I don't like Kyle Shanahan.
Purdy goes to Pittsburgh, and Aaron Rodgers goes back to California and San Francisco.
By the way, I don't think Brock Purdy can play in Pittsburgh in that well. He's not physically talented enough. Not physically talented enough.
All right, before we let you go, I do have to bring it up since it's April Fool's. And I remember in 1985. You've been a Mets fan since what was your first year you remember being a Mets fan?
Oh, God, like 1980.
Okay. So we're talking 1985. And
Sid Finch.
Sports Illustrated comes out. I talked about it earlier in the show. It is the greatest April Fool's gag of all time. Sid Finch, out of parts unknown, that could throw 168 miles an hour. George Plimpton wrote the article. It was so well done, so choreographed. The first letter of the first paragraph would spell out Happy April Fool's Day, which none of us knew until later on. In that way. But that is the ultimate gag. I know some idiots that wanted to cancel their subscriptions because of it, anything else. But when you read that, when that came out, we all fell for it. I was calling my friends going, can you believe this? Look at this guy. Do you remember when it came out? How'd you feel at the time?
So it was really funny. So let me explain the Mets at that point. In 1980, the Mets have been a laughingstock forever.
Then Doc came with Strawberry.
Yeah, 1983, Strawberry came up. They traded Pete Hernandez. In 84, Gooden came up. In 85, at the winter meetings, they got Gary Carter.
Yep.
So they were really close to being a really good team. So the story had someone, oh my God, this is the final piece. Oh my God. And then you realize it's April 1st. Remember, sports radio really wasn't a thing yet.
No.
So, and you get your Sports Illustrated. I'm like, wow, this is the guy we need. And it was pretty funny. And the best part of this is the Mets were in on it. So they kind of helped. And George Plimpton was a huge deal.
Huge.
I mean, he did the paper lion thing. And so many other. Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was funny as hell. And like you said, Pete, it was believable. And then they say he threw like 160 or something. It was
168 miles an hour. And the photograph taken by SI photographer Lane Stewart, who recruited his friend, who was an art teacher and occasional assistant to Joe Burton to portray the fictional Sid Fitch character. I mean, it was so well done. But George Plimpton,
awesome.
If you don't know who George Plimpton is, read his books.
Paper Lion. I think the one was on the
They made a movie about him. They made a movie about it. It wasn't too good. A made-for-TV movie. He also, if you want to know what he looks like, he also was in Good Will Hunting. He played one of Will's psychologists early.
Yes. Great call, Pete.
Where Matt Damon made fun of him for being. Does it bother you that you're gay and like he's hiding from it? Anyway,
such a great. It's sad watching that now because of Robin Williams.
Yeah, I know.
That was
greatest.
I mean, whenever I need to laugh, I go back and watch old Robin Williams and Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Pam Dauber's a Michigan girl, so there you go, Mindy.
That's right.
She's married to Mark Harmon.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
They've been together forever.
They've been married
forever.
They've been married a long time. Yep.
Yeah. So it's cool, but no, the April Fool's thing is pretty nuts. But yeah, I don't really do the April Fool's pranks. I mean, it's just I'm a humorless ghoul. I'm a humorless ghoul. So there you go.
Careful on social media today, everybody, because somebody's gonna fall for something. So be careful what you retweet. I'm including.
Well, I mean, the Red Sox might send Rafael Devers to the minors, but that won't be funny. So
I'd be like Darth Vader. That name no longer has any meaning.
Pete, where are you on him? Has he quit on that team?
I don't know. It's Jim Rice had a great take on that.
Yes,
it was awesome about turning the batting cage around. Do some different type of drills. When you're 0 for 19, you struck out 15 times. I mean, and his head is looking over right field every single time. He is a lost puppy right now because he can't play third base. Lost puppy.
Don't the Red Sox deserve a lot of blame for how they handled this wrong?
Well, because he should have been finding his swing in spring training. Other guys went through bad spring training.
I'm talking about Bregman, not telling them what was going on with Bregman, and they wanted him to play third, and what they're going to do with Devers long term.
I don't subscribe to that theory at all, ever. Like you should ask a permission from a player to do something else. For any sport, I've never bought into it. The quarterbacks get brought into that stuff all the time. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't give a shit about that stuff. You do what's best for the team. I don't care with that kind of money. The guy has unbelievable stats since 2019. I mean, he really has. And this is, but this, is he going to snap? I mean, this is awful. This is as bad as I have seen anybody in baseball look for the first 5 games. And the fact that they're 1-4. Now, the whole team has left a gazillion runners on base. I've seen every pitch of every game. It won't be that way today because they have the day off. Much needed. But we'll see.
It's okay. Devers will go 0 for 4 with 3 Ks.
Not today, but I mean,
that was a good joke, Pete. You got to give me that.
Oh,
one.
yeah, it was a good joke.
Good joke. Well, we can. Hey, at least we can watch the Bruins.
No, we can't. No.
Well, I'm going to be in Michigan baseball. I'm going with the boys over Eastern Michigan, where the big travel to Ypsilanti, 20 minutes away. So there you go.
Sweet.
There you go. Good to talk, Pete. You and Angel have a good week.
Have a great and safe rest of your week. We'll talk to you soon. Jay Flannery from Beeves World up in Ann Arbor. Going to see some Michigan baseball. Angel's back, and nothing else really going on today as well. Oh, no, who else is on today? Are we doing another show today?
Yes. It'll be Duncan Dad. He'll be on today at 1 o'clock. So Ain't That Right coming up here at 1 o'clock on the Coastal Sports Network. And then I have to beat feet to Tampa, as it pretty much from today forward is a lot of NCAA stuff going on with the women. So, it's a lot of stuff that'll happen. And then who knows, this will be the rare spotting of me, because Thursday morning is the breakfast with ESPN and the NCAA media. And then Friday.
I want to provoke Gino Auriemma. Get a good soundbite.
Okay. I'll make sure I do that.
All right. I am Pete. Thanks to Jay Flanley. I'll be back full show tomorrow here on the Coastal Sports Network. Bill Sparrows will be joining me at 8:30 for his usual visit. And maybe a couple of surprises or two as well. Have a great and safe rest of your Tuesday. April Fools, everybody. Don't fall for any of that shit. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow at 7 a.m. Bye-bye.